Good morning, my name is Martin and this is a Tribe of the Fox. And today I have another book review for you, and that is this book, the Ginnrúnbok. It is written by Ljóssál Lódursson. Now this is not really the book that you find on Amazon. I bought it with the publisher, Fall of Man. And this book, the Ginnrúnbok, is the book of primordial whispers, inspired by the magical and spiritual character of the Norse primordial abyss. Now what that is, we will talk about this later. And it's written by Ljóssál Lódursson, and I think this is an awesome book. I read in this book a lot. I really like it. Now what is it about? It is about a philosophy called Thursatru. So in the Norse mythology you have several types of deities. So you have the Asir, they are gods like Odin and Thor. You have the Vanir, that's working with Freya and Freyr, for instance. You also have a thing called Rokatru, that's working with the giants of Norse mythology. Now there are many giants, types of giants. However, there's also Thursatru, and Thursatru works with the most ancient of all the giants. And it's a pantheon, actually. It's a pantheon, they're gods, but their names Thursar. And they are deities like Hel, Angerboda, Loki, Golveger, Hirokin, and many more. So, Thursatru, what is it? What is it all about? Well, the Tribe of the Fox already made a video about this. So if you're interested in this topic, then please watch that video. Yeah, what is it? Let's keep it short here because I made a video about this. In the beginning, in Norse mythology, there was a primordial void. A void. On one side there was a world of fire, on the other side a world of ice. The world of ice had rivers. The rivers were flowing into the void and froze up. Sparks from the world of fire came with the ice, and that sparked life. It sparked life. It sparked life, and a being came into being, because that's what beings do. And he was called Ymir. He was the first being. He was the ancestral father of all the Thursar and also all the giants, all the other giants. Okay. However, another being called Buri also came into being. He was not a descendant of Ymir. And Buri would become the ancestral father of what we now call the Asir. So that's like Odin and Thor and many others. Odin. So what did Odin do? Together with his brothers, he decided to slaughter, to kill, to murder Ymir. And many giants drowned in his blood. And Odin and his brothers, he used the body of Ymir to create the cosmos as we now know it. And it's a cosmos with, it ended up with having 9 worlds. Muspelheim and Niflheim, so the world of fire and ice, they were already in existence. So Odin created more worlds. Also our world, Midgard, his own world, Asgard, and there was a place where the Jotnar, the giants, could live, Jotunheim, and so on. So what did Odin and his Asir deities do? They would protect their creation, their cosmos, any way they could. Any way they could. Okay. The Thursar, the descendants of Ymir, so Ymir was killed by Odin, the Thursar were not happy. So they started to become anti-cosmic. That was just another current, a cosmic current from the Asir, and anti-cosmic from the Thursar. That basically is Thursatru in a nutshell. But there's much more to say about it, because it's a very deep philosophy. Okay. Now, this is not the first, the Ginnrúnbok is not the first Thursatru book. That was actually, for as far as I know, it was the Kulveigar book written by A. Kortu. Also a very awesome book, by the way. This book is a bit different in content. Yes, it's Thursatru, but the content is really original. I really like it. So, what is in this book? Well, the first few chapters, they explain a lot of terminology, for instance, Old Norse and some German terminology. It speaks about the creation myth that I just talked about. It also speaks about all the realms that are mentioned in the Old Norse mythology. The 9 worlds and their inhabitants. This book also speaks about the inhabitants of those worlds. By the way, there are, if you're going to do shamanic journeying or trance journeying, you will discover that there's far more than these 9 worlds. And then Ljóssál Lódursson also starts to explain the path of the void, because Thursatru is about doing. It's not about just reading theoretical stuff and thinking that you know it all. No, that's not what Thursatru is about. This is about actual practicing. And sure, the people in Asatru, Vanatru, Rokatru, they often practice too. But Thursatru, without practicing, no, you have to do this. So, what else is here? Let's see. Yeah, he also explains something very interesting, and that's the 9 parts that make up a human being. And I also made a video about that, by the way, so I'm not going to explain all the 9 parts here, but our Germanic ancestors had a very complicated view of what a human being actually was. It was not just body, mind and soul. No, there were 9 components that made up a human being. And Ljóssál Lódursson explains this in this book, in the Ginnrúnbok, in quite an understandable way. It's really nice, really good. Okay, like I said, Thursatru is something that you have to do. And to my joy, Ljóssál Lódursson explains meditation. Okay, so I'm a former Buddhist monk, so I have done more meditation than, well, the average person, so to speak. Okay, I am an average person, but I mean, from a meditation point of view, I've done a lot of meditation. And he describes 4 types of meditation, and he also uses the Old Norse sources, so it's not just made up. So first I take a sip of my cheap ass instant coffee before it gets cold. Okay. He describes 4 types of meditation in this book. The first one is Seta. Now Seta, he describes it as focusing on an object, for instance like your breathing. Now that's of course the most basic meditation there is, and it's very important to practice this, because you learn how to focus and you learn how to have a little bit more distance from your own thoughts and from all the sense organ impressions that you have, so the impressions that come through your sense organs. So it's very important, it's the foundation of your meditation, just focus on your breathing. It's more difficult than it sounds, by the way. More difficult than it sounds. Then he describes a second meditation named Uttiseta. So that's meditating outside. And in that case, you don't focus on your breathing, you focus on your senses. You focus on the sound of the birds, or your eyes, like you see the light coming through the canopy of the trees. Those kind of things, or you feel the wind. So you take your sense organs, you focus them on an object. So that's also a way of meditating. Uttiseta, he calls that. And that's also a terminology that you can read about in the Norse mythology. Then he describes a thing called Daudaseta. And what that is, it's connecting with the ancestors. Connecting with the ancestors. For instance, going to a graveyard, to a grave of your ancestors. Now that's a little bit of a problem here in the Netherlands, because if a family stops paying, then the grave is being cleared and it's gone. And that sucks. But yeah, we're an overpopulated country. But I believe in the United States, I believe that, because many of my viewers are Americans, graves are not cleared, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. So then you can go to graves of ancestors. But you can also sit on burial mounds. That's what Dirkje and me, so Dirkje and me, we are the tribe of the fox. We go out there, for instance in the Gelderland province in the Netherlands, to sit next to burial mounds and to make sacrifices and actually connect with the beings inside. Sometimes there is nothing inside anymore that answers you. It's empty, gone. The energy is gone. But many of these 2,000, 3,000 year old burial mounds, you can still connect. You can still do it. And again, the tribe of the fox made multiple videos about this, so check it out if you want to do this yourself. But you can also use pictures as your focus point of deceased ancestors, or deceased relatives. So Daudaseta. So we had Seta, basic meditation. We had Uttiseta, that's meditating outside using your sense organs. Daudaseta, connecting with the ancestors, and then there is one of my favorites, Mirkseta. So what is that? It's contacting the Thursar. It's meditating on these ancient deities, like Hela, the goddess of the realm of the dead, or Angerboda, who rules the Ironwood, or Loki, or Farbauti, or Sword, Fenris, Jörmungandr, you name them. You can connect with them, you can journey to their worlds. And that's a very interesting thing that is written in this book, by the way. If you go to another world or to another deity, then that energy sticks around you for a while. Now, I have visited Helheim over 200 times the last couple of years. So I must have a pretty dead energy. And that's why I'm drinking my cheap ass coffee. Okay. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. And if I journey to Helheim and I come back out of my meditation, out of my Mirkseta, yeah, then this energy indeed, it sticks around you. But you can also go to the Ironwood. That's basically, I call it the headquarters of the Thursar. Yeah, that's where Angerboda lives. And it has a totally different energy. Far more wild, but it can also be calm. Yeah, not always the same. Yeah, Niflheim also has very special energy, and it sticks with you. Yeah, that's true. Ljóssál Lódursson, who has written this book, was absolutely right, and that proves that he actually practices, which I like. I love it actually when people practice and actually trance journey. Okay, so meditation. Now let's go to Ragnarok. So Ragnarok is described in the Norse mythology basically as the end battle between the Asir and their allies and the Thursar and their allies. It's one big epic battle and the world goes up in flames. However, is Ragnarok actually an external thing, this epic end battle? Or is it an internal thing on an individual level? Yeah, that's a bit thinking outside of the box. That's thinking outside of the box. That's inward, going inward. Reflection. Reflection. An inner Ragnarok. Yeah. Here you see, I just talked about meditation, which is going inward. So maybe Ragnarok is an inward thing, an internal thing in you as a person. And I'm not going to read everything. I'm not going to tell everything that is written about internal Ragnarok in this book, because it's quite a lot. But basically, the writer, he takes the Norse mythology. So there's a sequence of events in it, and he translates that to a personal spiritual development. So that's very, very interesting. And he also takes the characteristics of certain deities, mainly Asir deities and Vanir deities. Actually, their characteristics that are less beneficial, and he takes the beneficial characteristics of certain Thursar as their antidote. So here you go again into the realm of meditation, and thank the writer of this book for that. Really good. Then there's an entire chapter about what is actually known as chakras. Now that's a Hindu word from Sanskrit, and it's the energy centers that are in each human being and in each animal. So yeah, I'm an energy therapist by training. I'm very well trained in that. And I have not made my mind up yet about a chapter about the chakras. Because in this book the chakras have a little bit of a different place than the regular system. So it's still on my bucket list to actually check out in real life what is written about the chakras, or the wheels, as he calls it, the wheels, in this book. So I still have to do that and explore that. At the moment I have not done this yet, and I also need a good volunteer to actually do this, because I want to do this with somebody else then. Well, anyway, there are a lot of there's a number of chapters about the runes. Now the runes are very important in hedonism, in paganism, whatever you want to call it, but also Thursatru. Now Odin is usually seen as the rune master, but where did he actually get the runes from? Who is the original rune master? Boltorn. So it's probably Boltorn is probably the grandfather of Odin from his maternal side. So Boltorn is actually a Thursar. And you have several different rune writings, or runic alphabets for the lack of a better word. So you have the Elder Futhark, 24 runes. You have the Younger Futhark, 16 runes. They were used in the Nordic countries. You have the Anglo-Saxon runes. They're either 29 or 33, depending on who you ask. The Anglo-Saxon runes were from the Anglo-Saxons and the Frisians. And those are the rune runic writings that are known. Now, the runes in this book, they are the 24 runes of the Elder Futhark, but in a different arrangement. So it starts with Urus and not with Theu. And there are some other modifications in the arrangement of the runes. And the good thing about this book is that the runes are described not just by the information that we have from the Old Norse and from the Icelandic sources, but also from the Anglo-Saxon rune poems. So each rune is looked at from a different angle. It's really good. It provides a lot of information about the runes, actually. So I'm quite happy with that. And a lot of bind runes are described in this book. But there's also a whole other type of runes in this book. It's the heart runes. Now, if you go to Norse mythology, then you see that there is a Thursar, a lady named Gullveig. And Gullveig is 3 times burned by Odin and the Asir deities. But her heart could not burn, it was just half burned. And Loki ate the heart of Gullveig. So here you have the heart runes, and they belong to Loki. So the heart runes are not really it's not a scientific, historic rune writing. It's more esoteric, I think. Yeah, the heart runes. There are 11 of them. They're about creation, destruction, and death. So yeah, that's an extra thing. Yeah, and then there are quite some chapters about sorcery. Because again, Thursatru is something that you practice. Sorcery is just one of the things. And fortunately, Ljóssál Lódursson also gives attention to the land spirits. And the tribe of the Fox likes that very much, because we also always say ancestors, nature spirits, and the deities. So yeah, it's very important. I just had a conversation in one of the in the comment section of one of my videos with an American gentleman. And the American gentleman, he said that there were not so many old heathen sites in the USA, which makes sense. But then I said, yeah, but your landscape is ancient. So when it comes to nature spirits, the United States of America must be a paradise. If you can even find nature spirits here in Holland, where I live, which is one of the most overcrowded countries in Europe, and you can already find nature spirits still here. Can you imagine the United States? It's huge, with lots of nature. Forests, deserts, lakes, rivers, you name it, and it's there. So maybe that's a bit of assignment for American heathens or pagans to connect with, to become specialists with nature spirits, because you must have a lot of them. Anyway, what I just said, there's nothing to do with this book. Yeah, but nature spirits are described in this book. It's a very good thing. Yeah, so now, by the way, the tribe of the Fox is not a Thursatru group. It's just Dirkje and me having this project in which we investigate the pre-Christian spirituality of our part of the world. So the Netherlands, the west of Germany, Belgium, so that little area over there. However, from a personal point of view, I'm now speaking only for myself, I think Thursatru is very interesting, and I work with the Thursar anyway. They are by far my favorite deities, always has been. So yeah, Thursatru really resonates in me, also because it has a very meditative aspect. A meditative aspect that has to create an internal Ragnarok. And that actually means that you don't get dragged away by all the cosmic currents that are going on. You're not dragged along by all the things that happen in this world. It makes you far more sovereign. Yeah, it's pure meditation. Anyway, so Ginnrúnbok, awesome book. Recommend you to read it. I recommend you to watch my Thursatru video as well, because it's a very interesting path, very deep for the practitioners among you. Okay, well, that's the end of the video. So stay safe, stay healthy, and I see you in the next video. Bye bye.